feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't run away.
So TDE fell out with this, blogger from the West Coast. His name is DeJon Paul. And he's been exposing them and legitimately exposing that, these guys are, kind of spineless and they don't have it together as much as we might think they do. So in one of these exposés, we get to find out that Daylyt, who I guess he's TDE or TDE adjacent, I don't know what his current status is. Apparently, Daylyt is talking shit about, like, let me see. Oh my God. Give me a second. Yo, could y'all send me the tweet? All right, let me just type in. Yeah, ain't nobody talking about Daylyt. Daylyt, here we go. Daylyt. Okay, I'm going to read it, right? So, all right. So, this is the guy. His name is DeJon Paul. He has exposed Daylyt, and he exposed more tweets. Remember the whole thing about when he's like, oh, Drake has Ak, and Joe has, Joe Budden. And what we get to realize is that Daylyt, who is like a TDE affiliate or a TDE artist, whatever you want to call it, he's been really critical of, like, even Kendrick and even Kendrick's last album, right? GNX. So listen to this. This is, like, interesting. Okay, we're going to read some of this stuff. Okay. All right. So they sent some song, and DeJon says, yeah, he could have been like West Coast Wayne or something. But I had the same conversation with RJ years ago about how he got caught up in that whole Ratchet Wave and Mustard sound and being a party rapper. Okay? He says, I could see someone tweet that KC Veggies was going to be like the next Lupe Fiasco and a huge star in hip hop, but he started rapping over West Coast party beats like Backflip. And Daylyt says, it's sad, man. All them niggas from Dot album flopped, LOL. Yo, chat, y'all heard it. It ain't me saying it. Even the West Coast is telling you that Kendrick put a bunch of niggas on his album and they all fucking flopped, all right? This is Daylyt saying to himself. So he says all the niggas from Dot album flopped. And he says Dot is able to get away with it. Listen. Hold on, sorry. All them niggas from Dot album flopped. Dot is able to get away with it because he's already made real rap albums. So DeJon says, shit, Dot sold millions with GNX. It was a win for him. But none of the artists he featured did anything with the opportunity. Nobody followed up. Oh no. Nobody followed up with a big single or well-received projects. And he didn't have the right new LA rappers on there. No Big Sad, no Blue Bucks, no Ray Vaughn, no Kalon. Hitta J3, Young Threat. Okay. So they said they can't because nobody care about West Coast style music globally. They care about Dot. Them niggas made songs after Dog, but the world don't care. What Ray did at the pop out showed he should have stayed there. Real rap bag. But no, he's saving it for the album. I heard a lot of shit. It's real rap. But the rest of these niggas, Lefty, Gunplay, and the rest, oh shit. All right. So basically, Daylyt is telling you that, yo, Kendrick put a bunch of dudes on GNX. Bunch of floppers. Okay? Now they're talking about somebody named Joe Moses, I mean. Okay. So LA full of copycats. Says, my fault. It says everybody been making the same exact song over and over. That's why I said I haven't been into no new music in years. Okay. All right. Yeah, so, yo, put it like this, man. So, and this is the message. So he's saying everybody flopped on the album. Daylyt, I want to invite you onto my stream. I want to talk to you, brother. You know, I know TDE probably got you on the gag order these days, but I think me and you can rap. You're saying some of the same things I'm saying. Now, I knew that, you know, Kendrick wasn't trying to help nobody. Like, you know, that's why I said Kendrick doesn't have a stimulus package. Kendrick gave a bunch of local rappers in LA features, and he didn't put one of their names on the album that you could click on their name. You had to go Google. Like, who is that? Look, if you think I'm lying, all of this Kendrick put niggas on shit, let's bring up GNX. Oh, they finally added the things. Before, it was just Kendrick. So you couldn't even click on these niggas' names. Now you can. Okay, I'll give him credit for that. But essentially, Kendrick was not trying to feature these niggas. When it first dropped, you couldn't know anybody other than SZA that was on the album. Like, niggas was like, yo, who's that person on TV off? And we saw it on social media. Kendrick wasn't trying to help these niggas. Kendrick was just trying to, you know, probably pay a couple favors that he probably owed because his coast, and I've always said this, his coast helped support him during the battle. So he paid off these favors, and once he paid off the favors, he wasn't trying to help these niggas get on. What the fuck? Hell nah. Kendrick was probably working with these niggas like, yo, you niggas is trash. So after, number one, initially he didn't give them credit. It took a while for them to get credit on, you know, the track listing. People forgot about these songs, right? Now you have people like Daylyt. Daylyt keeping it a bean. Yo, these niggas, like Daylyt really keeping a bean. Yo, all them niggas flopped. Now, I'm glad Daylyt saying it instead of me, because when I say it, they say it's hate. Oh, Act just hating. Why Act hating on the West? I'm not hating on the West, I'm just pointing out the obvious. I'm pointing out the obvious. And, yeah, so, you know, all of them features clearly didn't help these guys, and, yeah, Daylight's even accepting it or admitting it. Them guys flopped. It is what it is, you know? All right. Holy shit. Interesting. Dot is able to get away with it because he made real rap records. Now, I didn't even play this part too. So this guy, DeJon Paul, he did a Spaces and he was talking about, I never knew some of these things. He was talking about what the rules were to stay down or stay cool with these, you know, TDE guys. You got to hear this, chat. Check this out. Look.
TDE literally, like, people just don't want to speak about it. TDE literally has a $48 million sexual misconduct and doxing law.
Okay, so, you know, TDE, remember, and I you know, I went on a soliloquy recently when I did my gambling stream, but I said, I think it's disgusting, okay, that a lot of these people in music, like, one of the reasons why Drake was getting dogpiled upon is that people were soapboxing. What Kendrick Lamar did to this music game, he soapboxed. His fans radicalized into woke liberal soapboxers who are basically saying, we are of higher moral than them. They actually try to label everybody who liked Drake as some type of degenerate or a creep or some type of sexual deviant or flat out PDFs and rapists. That's what they literally did. And I find it's abhorrent. It's, you know, deplorable that I'm seeing some of those people who 2 years ago were trying to even go down these realms of argue about people's actual, you know, oh, does this guy really like kids? Like that, they were really arguing that. Oh, this guy is weird. He has a weird case. Now, they were all just marching to the beat of Kendrick Lamar's drum. Kendrick was just trying to win a rap battle. And that's another thing, it's a gripe that I have with Kendrick because I think he allowed the atmosphere to go like that without him reining it in, right? Just like how people think that Drake didn't rein in certain shit. Kendrick didn't rein in his batshit crazy fans and also some of his comrades who literally were starting to act like Drake was a pedophile. That would act like, oh, these other people who like Drake, they are rapists. They're this, they're that. And this is why when I see these guys now saying, they're all doing the apology tour. Oh, well, I never disliked Drake. He just lost the battle. But I'm ready to hear Iceman. How are you in good faith now saying you're down to listen to music from what you called a pedophile? You should stop listening, period. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be talking about this. You are an enabler. If you 2 years ago were running up these theories about niggas liking kids and this is weird case, if you're the weird case pusher, if you say anything about music from Drake or for anything with this movement, you are a fucking enabler and you're just as fucking creepy as the people you accuse of, or actually falsely accused of doing that. How the fuck are these guys honestly live with themselves for 2 years, call people falsely pedophiles, say he has a weird case, this guy's a creep, and now they could just come around and say, well, you know what, it's been 2 years. You know what, I just want to hear what he got to say on the album. Why? You should be pushing for jail. You should say, all the weird case guys, let's get him in jail. It's not music time for you. If an album gets you to be distracted from your pedophilic hunt, you're fucking weird. That's actually a thing. I've seen actual music and media commentators actually act like Drake was a pedophile. And now they're ready to hear music. How? Like, what? But you get to realize it's the woke mentality of let's throw anything at somebody trying to get him canceled. But once you can't cancel them, let's just act like you never tried to cancel him in the first place. That's disgusting. Because those people should be exposed because they don't have, they're men without countries. And really, they're just bitches. Because if I really think that, niggas, with all the stuff that Kendrick said about Drake, if you believed any of that, you shouldn't be talking about Iceman, period. You should be talking about jail. Like, if you believed anything in Not Like Us and you're like, all right, man, I can't wait till Iceman drops, you're the weirdo. You should be saying, so when is the DOJ going to drop the pedophile charge? That's what you should be saying. But you get to realize these guys, they were all coping. They were capping. When they couldn't hate on the guy successfully, they flip. Oh, okay, I never really hated him. I'm watching everybody apologize. Oh, I didn't really hate him like that. No. It's just because I'm not a stan. That's why they thought I hated him. No, you called him a pedophile, dummy. All of y'all. Y'all said he was a PDF. Y'all said he was a weirdo. Y'all said he had friends with weird cases. He surrounds himself with weirdos. And now you want to hear his music. How does that fucking work? Y'all go over there and go find your FBI files to go put a case on somebody. Because if I legit thought a nigga was literally a PDF or he hangs out with a bunch of niggas with weird cases, I would dedicate my life to go expose that person, not anticipate their next fucking album. But we're watching. They're now talking about the ice sculpture. How did you go from thinking it was so hilarious when Kendrick put predator dots on a nigga's house to now saying, yo, but what about the ice sculpture though? He put these coordinates. You went from talking about coordinates for pedophilia to coordinates for a fucking ice sculpture? What the fuck is going on? That's not weird to none of y'all? We had people who were fascinated and wouldn't even, I remember talking to, was it Glasses Malone? It's like one of these West Coast guys that was like, yo, y'all don't actually think that Drake is actually a PDF, right? They're like, well, I don't know, man. No, maybe it was like AD or something. Well, I don't know if Dot said it, Okay, now if it was AD or Glasses, I can't remember who it was. Well, if that's you, and now you're saying you're about to listen to Iceman, bruv, that's crazy. You are unsure that this guy is a pedophile, but you're now ready for his new album. Nigga, that don't sound crazy to y'all? That's my thing. I just want people to keep it consistent. Everybody who said that they believed anything would not like us, that he's a certified PDF, brother, Iceman it should not be in your list. It shouldn't be in your listening catalog. You should be like, you know what? I don't listen to PDFs. If I hear you talking about Iceman, I'm gonna bring up the tweet where I'm like, did you say it was a PDF? Why you listen to PDFs? Anyway. Now, separate and aside from that, apparently, TDE, TDE PG Lang, the soapbox group, apparently what they have is a sexual assault lawsuit against them as well. And as much as, sometimes I'd be like, you love blaming Kendrick for everything. I absolutely do blame Kendrick for turning hip hop into this. Kendrick tried to do a Me Too, where now it was about all these salacious allegations, and then no one wants to talk about the allegation that people have put, which is a sexual assault workplace allegation against TDE. And, the reason why I say that they start Me Tooing and then they stop paying attention when it's not convenient is because, like, I could be honest and be like, most of the stuff, it's probably BS, right? Like, just being honest, it's probably BS. Like, if it was something there, maybe the cops would probably, look into it a little bit more. However, they started this bullshit of everybody has a weird case. Well, here's the weird case. TDE has a company-wide sexual assault lawsuit, right? Speaking of weird case, and DeJon speaks about how this was handled internally, where they were pretty much instructed, hey, you could talk about Baca's weird case, you could talk about the weird cases with anybody around Drake, but you can't talk about TDE's weird case. Huh? Listen to this.
Like, people just don't want to speak about it. TDE literally has a $48 million sexual misconduct and doxing lawsuit going on right now with I think her name is Linda Luna and Aya Altari. Nobody wants to speak on it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Punch is pushing it under the rug. And if I go over the lawsuit, which the judge has been very on the two women's side, it talks about them being sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, sexually battered. There's coercion, underage exploitation, unpaid wages, and a toxic work environment. And the suit was amended after TD's own lawyer purposely doxed these girls and named them publicly when they were Jane Doe's. And so I think what's really crazy is you've called out the irony in the situation. While TD's people are obsessing over your sexuality and harassing you, these are like way more serious predatory allegations against their leadership, which are being downplayed and dismissed. So can you please give us your own unfiltered analysis of this suit in your view?
Yes, when rumblings of this first came out, I believe I was still at Fig Community World, and we explicitly told, that we could not talk about it, or else we wouldn't be asked to come back, which is like saying you'll get fired if you talk about it. So it was very hush hush when the rumblings. This is before the announcement even came out.
Before you continue, they told you if you speak about the lawsuit, the sexual assault lawsuit with TDE, you would be fired. Is what you're saying?
I was told we wouldn't be invited back to the platform.
So you would be okay. You would be fired. That's crazy.
They hushed y'all niggas up like that. They said,
okay.
Think about it. TDE literally.
We got to get to the mess.
It's a lot. The thing was, the show I was on under Fig Community World, which is ran by TDE affiliates and employees, it was called Fair to Say. So like other shows on the channel, back on Fig Community, there are live shows.
All right, so they basically told him you can't talk about, whatever that would make, he couldn't talk about the sexual assault allegations. And yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, right? I'm not surprised. But again, this just shows hypocrisy, right? Again, I'm not necessarily, I don't really care neither here nor there. And you might be like, no, you do. No, I think I've always said most of this shit is stupid. But for the people who operate on the soapbox mentality, it's a good day to just hold up a mirror, right? Like I'm not the soapbox nigga to be like, yo, TDE has a weird case. Like, bro, if anybody does that, they're probably just mocking the Kendrick fans. But Kendrick has put himself, his team, his fans as being these soapbox warriors who are standing on these principles and, oh, okay, no, we live this clean life that we never get accused, even if it's false, we never get accused of anything. And Drake is the bad guy. Drake is the PDF. And then you get to find out, but Drake doesn't have the lawsuits you do. Crazy.
Like Phoenix, Arizona, or he started asking me what part of LA I'm from, how long I've been doing this. We had such a great conversation, only for him to turn around last night and apologize to his homie / employees for communicating with me. I just thought it was two-faced and cowardice.
Okay. So we do have breaking news here for you. I don't want to kind of throw you aloof, but we do have some breaking news. I guess Daylyt kind of responded to you and then deleted the post. Did you get a chance to read it?
I didn't read it, but I saved it really quickly because we were about to start the live.
Okay.
Is going to continue to sell records. I think certain New York rappers are going to continue.
Hope you get the justice that you're seeking for. And
Thank you.
the question that I have for you, DeJon, is when it comes to Kendrick being post TDE and PG Lang and things of that nature, how do you feel when you see um, his fans try not to associate with TDE when there's ever bad things like these?
Okay.
On that?
I mean, if something is like actually proven or brought against him legally or just like proven out there in the open, then I would comment on that. Obviously, growing up in hip hop, a student in hip hop, you always heard the Foxy Brown Jay-Z narrative. But I mean, she came out and said that.
Now, I know we touched on it a little bit, and you mentioned something about freedom of speech, right? But that aside, how do you feel on what was said to Nicki Minaj?
There's no facts.
It's not conspiracy.
No, like
Okay, no.
Unfair to say. And then I got in somebody's car at Fig Community and they drove me to Heather's warehouse where we did the episode of Back on Fig. That was the end of it. So I don't have the address. I don't know how to get there. All I know is I get on the freeway and head north. I don't know what exit to get off on, how to turn, where the building is, any of that. I don't have some photogenic memory. I'm not a delivery driver. Okay. Maybe you do DoorDash or Uber. Shutting that shit down.
Going on.
But this is a nigga that's actually at the camp. I like how he said that Joe Budden was a casualty of war because he didn't try to wake it up on Joe Budden was a promo guy for them, but
yeah.
it is what it is. So I'm about to.
Has Joe responded to that? I'm highly skeptical. Like, I don't know.
Like Phoenix, Arizona, or Tucson. I was told if you keep saying that, you won't be allowed back. And then if I said it on Fair to Say, again, my show's not live. So the only time I got to get that off was when I was on one of them live shows. But the show I was on 3 times a week was not live, so they would just edit my response out. So it looks like I'm just getting bombarded and not defending myself. But I am defending myself. They're just editing out the show.
Damn. I'm not gonna lie, that's nasty work.
Said TDE work, man.
So I'm here. I gotta tap in because Punch got me blocked. I've been dragging him completely for over probably a year now. So I do have to speak from this perspective. And I look at a person like the woman who I love. I look at Nikki and I'm like, she was publicly dragging TDE because of their artificial streams for, you know, Doechii, SZA, and Kendrick. They lost 30 million monthly subscribers within a week's time span. It was crazy.
Fishy.
It was insane. That's something I really want to speak on as well, because they have obviously, TDE obviously has been against them, because we just seen the same thing when people was calling out Doechii for the Megala incident.
Okay, all right. TDE look like, you know, they're having a leak. They got a mole over there. And apparently it's DeJon Paul. Shout out to DeJon, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep exposing them. All right.